I reckon last night there was more happening in the Olympics than any other night so far. So much happening. The men's 100 metres. The Yanks did us in the drink. There is stingers. There are opals. There are hockey roos. There are men doing nothing in these Olympics for Australia. Let's get that out of the way. Hey, Hewy's on the show. Welcome back, Hewy. Pezza, everything was happening last night in the Olympics except for Australian gold. Please use a microphone when you...
pull my mic in. And he goes, I noticed that there are efforts around Australian media to describe last night as a night of silver linings. A lot of silver medals. On this show, we will never resile from our need and our encouragement for gold. And the moment we start looking for silver linings and employing that kind of imagery and metaphor is the moment we start to panic as a nation. I'm here to say to Australian viewers and listeners, yes, over the next week, you are going to hear a lot of words like repechage. You're going to hear a lot of words like semi-finals, and you're going to hear a lot of words like lucky loser races. Okay? Yes. But we won't resile from our need for gold. And with that in mind, I'd like to hand over to the listeners who've got a few things to say about the overnight action before we cover it in earnest with Hewy, who is back.
Hey boys, why is there no gold under my pillow this morning?
Indeed.
What sort of horseshit is this of working up to 0 gold medals and more silver than Judas sold Jesus out for? This is a lot of time with my therapist this week.
Boys, we wake up this morning to no gold medal news. At what stage does it become a drought? I'm fucking parched.
Droughts.
Just rolled out of my Dorito crumb-filled bed. Checked my phone, see a notification. Dual podium for the Australian high jumpers. Oh, fuck yes. Gold and silver, gold and silver. Oh... silver and bronze. Nah, but someone else has won gold, right? No, we're still on 12 golds. Fuck.
Yeah, babe. Yeah, no, it's week 2 now. Yeah, no more golds for 4 years.
Boys, I hate to say it, but Noah Lyles has wheels.
Yeah, wheels.
What's going on with the Swans? I think Heaney needs to chop out.
We've got the power to win. Power to roll. Come on.
That's Australia.
A lot of AFL stuff.
That's Australia. That's a sentiment from the nation.
A drought is upon us.
He goes. Well, that's what they're saying. I'm not there yet.
All right, let's start with the pool.
And because the pool's finished, right?
Yeah, it's finished.
The program's finished.
And the Yanks have done us in the drink. Let's have a look at the medal table from just the pool, just the drink. USA have got 8 gold medals. Australia finished with 7. Marchand finished with 4.
Yes.
McIntosh finished with 3.
Yes.
Pan finished with 2.
Yeah.
And then the rest did the rest. In fact, Sweden actually number 8. That's just Sarah Sjöström.
Sjöström finished with 2.
Okay, so that's who Australia's competing against. It was going to be, there were whispers. There were whispers about, could Australia defeat the US in the pool for the first time? And in the end, it's the women that's let us down.
How do you figure?
Well, Australia didn't send any male swimmers. So,
right.
I don't really see.
You're in a big male algorithm on Insta, I see. We got Rogan, bit of shooting.
Yeah, Peterson. Yeah. Bit of JP.
Yeah, JP.
Yeah.
Kevin's brother.
That would explain a lot, actually.
Yeah.
All right, the women's 50 So Meg Harris finished with silver.
That's a shock silver.
A shock silver.
That's the sort of silver you want. It's the perfect kind of silver.
And did it
if you
a
are
PB.
going to,
A PB, a
if you are
personal
going to
best.
accept silver,
Yeah.
Sjöström was out in front. We remember Sjöström from deciding a couple of days ago to do the 100 too, so she gets the double.
She gets the double.
So it was best of the rest stuff, and we got best of the rest.
Shayna Jack finished in 8th in the final. So Meg, I almost said Meg Ryan, American's golden girl. Meg Harris,
golden girl.
Meg Harris, PB of 23.97, came second to Sjöström's 23.71. So that is 0.28 of a second.
Mm-hmm.
Is that close enough for you?
Oh,
Is it-
look,
are you-
no,
are you-
nothing. Well,
No.
sorry, I reject the premise of a comparison. There's colours.
Yeah.
And if it's not gold, I'm not here.
We
But-
are in the week of PBs, as you
Yeah.
mentioned before, the week of
It
semi-final.
fills out numbers next to names. and particularly when there wasn't the expectation of gold, I'll take it.
I think these athletes need to
And
realise...
it's important that the swimmers understand that.
Well, they'll be listening
Sam
and
Perry
watching.
will take that.
These athletes need to understand that we are living vicariously through them, and in our dreams, I tell you what, we do a lot more than a fucking PB and a repechage. Okay,
Yeah.
we're winning gold medals. We're on the podium. We're friends with Jesse Owens. It's a whole package.
Yeah. Now, this is the thing, right? There's going to be a lot of conversation in America about them winning the medal tally again, right? Which is something they've done forever and a day. And you'll find that there'll just be nothing but stone cold silence in Australia. That didn't happen now. This meet didn't really happen. Yeah. The thing I want to say about it, though, is that people will be upset. There will be tears on the streets because we were so close to the Australian century of swimming.
Yes.
Right, of knocking off the US from their perch, a la Manchester United, Liverpool. Not really. But I believe the Australian century is still on. Here goes. And this is what people need to understand.
Yeah.
What people need to understand is that this medal tally is being contextualised by Brisbane 2032. Okay? There's kids watching these races going, okay,
Yeah.
this is where our usurping, our dethroning of the United States in swimming terms commences. This is going to be the ultimate long game, come over the top victory for Australia, after which time the Olympics may or may not be on the nose due to corporate interest and climate change. The Olympics may cease to exist after Brisbane 2032, or if it goes to India, as is mooted, just segmented off for IPL franchises.
Yeah.
So I would be buoyed and encouraged if I was Australia right now. I can't, that doesn't really play into what happens at LA. But nevertheless, Brisbane 32 is what we're building for.
Yeah, okay.
I would expect a lot of Australia swimmers to continue on until then. All of them, in fact. Emma McKeon doesn't realise she's gonna have to continue on.
Yep.
So I'm encouraged after that swimming program.
I am excited by the prospect of China not only buying up our, electricity, some of our
Yes.
farms and stuff, but also giving us some of their swimmers. Like when Pan represents Australia in LA, there's 2 more gold medals. Australia top of the table.
And this is the thing around China. He goes, a lot of people have seen Australia snatch silver in the women's 4x1 medley. I think who got us home? Was it Molly O got us home? And that was interesting, I thought, and I thought it was quite poetic, given that the US was several body lengths ahead of us, doing God knows what. They actually needed a different camera shot. They were so far ahead. China just creeping up on Australia, and Australia stuck in between the USA and China. I thought it was a good geopolitical image from which to finish these Olympic Games.
And there was a warship in lane 2. Just
and there was France, who we fucked off a little while ago as well, because Morrison did something. But what I'm trying to say is that ahead of Brisbane 32, which is what these games have been about, is that I can't wait to get you to Gabba.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can't wait to get you at the Gabba.
Yeah. You mentioned the women's medley relay silver medal there. So that was basically the tiebreaker for Australia, who were both sitting on 7 gold medals either side.
Yeah.
Heading into that, Yanks won in the world record time.
Yeah.
A couple of question marks.
Yeah. Well, of course.
Yeah.
The US, they had a good night in the drink.
They did have a good
US.
night in the drink.
They needed to come over the top of Australia, and they finished with bulk golds and world records deluxe.
So Kaylee, Emma, Jenna and Molly were the swimmers, and that means that Kaylee McEwen continues her record of winning a medal in every single Olympics she's ever entered, every event.
Every Olympics. Whenever she's in the drink, she emerges with a medal.
She's only just turned 23.
Of course.
So
I expect no less.
Imagine what this could be,
Of course, yeah. The only thing
In 4
better
years'
than winning
time.
medals every time is imagining what it could be down the track.
Yeah. And what that'll be is 27 at the next Olympics. Men's 1500 metres, Pezza. Bobby Fink won it for the US in world record time as well. A couple of question marks. That meant that an American male has won gold in the pool at every single Olympic since 1904. So before this race, no American male had also won anything in the pool. So they kept that 120-year record going. In 1904, that was in St. Louis.
Yeah, a proud record. For Americans.
A proud record. They some bloke, they used to swim in a lake.
Yes.
And so some bloke won it in 1904, won a gold in the 220-yard event.
Well, that's like that Woolies ad that we're seeing at the moment as well.
Which one?
The Aussie bloke in the butterfly has to jump into a
lake,
a pretty still and sort of discoloured body of water.
The croc territory.
Yeah, my son keeps saying, "Hey, that's Thorpe," because he's in the full bodysuit. I'm like, no, son, he's looking after his skin. And Thorpe wasn't in the fly. Try again.
and go get me some Pop-Tarts. So Bobby Fink's last 100 metres was in 55.34 seconds. His first 100 metre split was 55.47.
Yeah.
To put that into context, so Pan broke the world record the other day with 46.4. So this is 9 seconds slower after swimming 1,400 metres. Incredible to come home with that. Just talking about the contribution of the men for the Australians in the pool. Emma Kemp wrote an article for the SMH about Sam Short's bizarre meet, where she said this: Short arrived in Paris, a genuine contender across 3 events, having claimed a rare treble of gold, silver and bronze medals in the 400, 800 and 1,500 metre freestyle events, respectively, at the 2023 World Titles. That was in Fukuoka last year in Japan. Those expectations were tempered by the illness that affected his Australian trials in June, where he had gastro, when he qualified second in the 400 and 800 events behind friend and rival Elijah Winnington. He also withdrew from the 1,500 metres altogether, though was still given the green light by selectors to contest the event at the Games. So come the Olympics, Short did not make it out of the heats in either the 800 or the 1,500 metres freestyle events, and placed 4th in his 400 metre final, again behind Winnington. And he also hasn't given a single interview during these Olympics. So that's just, it's really bizarre, like what the circumstances around that would be, that he is so far off. I know in these heats for his 1,500 metres, he was 21 seconds off his personal best. Now that race goes for 15 minutes typically, so there was a bit more of a range than say 100 metres, but 21 seconds off and not making it out of the heats for the 400, for the 800 or the 1,500 is quite bizarre. And I don't know the circumstances about that, but that's just generally sort of gives a bit of a malaise to the Australian men's performances in the pool, I would suggest. Just speaking about Pan as well before, unless you want to say anything to that.
Oh, no, not really. I think if somebody doesn't perform very well, you hope that they're okay. And if he hasn't given an interview, then probably best to reserve judgment until he does.
I mentioned Pan before, who obviously broke the world record in 46.40 was what he broke the world record for the 100 metres the other day. So China won the men's medley relay, and Pan's freestyle split coming home was 45.92, half a second faster than his world record. Obviously, it doesn't count because he wasn't swimming the first leg of that.
That was a great race.
But that is unbelievable.
I didn't like that we weren't in that race. But I have to concede it was a great race.
We're not even in the top 3 nations in that event.
Well,
that hurts.
That goes to show the malaise among Australian men right now.
Argus reviews?
Oh, mate, Argus is busy after last night.
He's going to be flat stick.
He's flat stick. He's going to need some private investment to build a team.
Let's talk about the track.
I got a couple of, just as we round out the swimming, if that's okay.
Round it out.
A couple of notes. I want to respond to... and did you catch this, Higgos? The women's 4x1 medley team jumped in the drink post their silver.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yes.
As a sort of a ceremonial, celebratory thing, and it was in full tracksuit kit. Now, there's been suggestions from some quarters that the women's 4x1 medley, Kaylee, Emma, Jenna, and Molly, who won silver, should not have jumped in the drink. That was carry-on stuff. Not to be confused with at the airport.
Carry-on luggage,
The sort of carry-on gear.
Got the carry-on stuff?
Social media-driven stuff after winning only silver.
Yeah.
You're not jumping in the drink after winning silver. I'm responding to this, by the way. This is just suggestions in quarters.
In some quarters.
Certain quarters. To those people, I say, how dare you? Okay? That's a despicable suggestion that it was carry-on, full kit, silver. This is Emma McKeon's last professional race in national colours. This is McEwen leaving a legend from these games, and so does Molly. Who can begrudge our Golden Girls that moment? They've lived in the drink for Australia. They're allowed one last dip, given the extent to which they've carried us. Okay, so if you're suggesting that it was some crow's feet carry on, and they have been suggestions in some quarters,
yeah. They're probably looking for any male swimmers in the pool, of which there have been none.
I just wanted to respond to those suggestions from those quarters.
Fair enough.
I thought it was despicable. jumping in full kit, winning silver. What's doing? I didn't rate it. And just finally, I wanted to make an apology around my ignorance with the swimming. He goes, now that the program's ended.
Yeah.
Before the meet itself, I made some mockery of some media that I'd read where there was a kind of the anatomy of winning a swimming race, and how it was a visual representation of how it could be run. And my response, side mouth, was like, it's just how you use your carrots, isn't it? Really,
right?
You're up and back. How do you use your energy?
Right.
But I've since learned, and we've all been on this journey, that there's many ways to win, to skin the swimming race cat. You've got your stroke rate. You've got your underwater work.
Yes.
You get out of the blocks. It's how you own the race.
It's also the swimming component of the race.
The swimming component of the race is how you walk through the blocks. It's how you fox through heats, etc. So that's a hands up apology for me. And if there's others out there who need to apologise themselves, I'll do it for you.
And you've learned something. You've taken that.
I've learned something. There's many ways to win a swimming race. It's more than just the way you utilise and spend the carrots available to you.
Typically speaking, though, it is the person with the fastest time.
There did seem to be a correlation. But there's underwater work.
There was a consistency to it.
There's ownership. There's blocks. There's stroke rate. There's swimming components. So we stand educated.
Well, speaking of education, I was doing some research last night, which I was telling you about, coming out of the Duke in South Carolina. The university.
Oh, some research from academic research.
Legitimate research. In terms, it was specifically in relation to why black athletes are typically faster on the track than white athletes, and then in reverse in the pool. And that. So,
what did you learn?
That black people are faster at running than white people, typically speaking. No, that's that. What it comes down to essentially is like the center of gravity. So black athletes typically on the track, they have longer legs and shorter torsos. Therefore, their center of gravity is higher. So they're able to propel their legs faster. Therefore, the feet hitting the ground can propel them quicker than white athletes who typically have longer torsos and shorter legs. Conversely, in the pool, white athletes who have longer torsos, they basically create a wave. And when you're propelling yourself in the water, you're essentially riding that wave. You think about some of the backs that some of these swimmers have, right?
Yep.
And then you're essentially on the top of that wave and you're riding that wave. So having a longer torso is advantageous in the pool. I don't know, people might find that interesting, but I learned something as well last night. Should we talk about the 100-metre final?
We shall. Onto the track.
So Noah Lyles wins the 100 metres final by 0.005 seconds. It's the first time in 20 years an American has won the race. People might remember him from this comment, Pezza. World champion of what? Go on, Charlie. Show us what he said before.
World champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States? Don't get me wrong. I love the U.S. at times. But that ain't the world. That is not the world. We are the world. We have almost every country out here fighting, thriving, putting on their flag to show that they are represented. There ain't no flags in the NBA, and they have world.
And you might have you might have seen as well that the USA basketball team was there watching because he was referring to the NBA there, saying like they're world champions. World champions of what? Well, he's done the thing. He has done the thing. He's won the 100 meters final by 0.005 seconds.
5 1,000ths.
Lyles and Kashane Thompson from Jamaica both finished with a 9.79. Fred Curley, also from the USA, finished 0.02 seconds back in bronze. The whole race from first to eighth was split by 0.12 of a second. Let's have a look at the finish line. I've got a couple of images here from the finish line because this is how close it is. So if you look at like the line image and you think like, you actually see like some of the athletes' feet. In fact, that'd be Fred Curley and Kashane.
Which is where that famous company came from.
And then you look
initially 2 blokes in it, which is why it was feet.
And you look at this. So Noah Lyles there on the far left. He actually looks like he's finished third with that image. Now this is obviously based on like camera angles and whatnot.
But stay in his lane as well.
Yeah, that's right. But so this is a situation when you actually look at this is the Omega final result, the actual photo finish image used. The next image here, and so you see those lines on the track that are running perpendicularly, and you actually see you see some of the athletes at the top there, that's Fred and Kashane at the top with their feet over and indeed perhaps even their head over that final red line. But the rules are, now I just found this fascinating because it's so close. The winner by IAAF competition rules is determined by the first athlete with their torso, not including limbs, head, or neck, over the nearer edge of the finish line. So according to Olympic rules, this is via NBC I read today, a runner is considered to have finished a race when part of their body from the clavicle down crosses the finish line. So you see there, the bottom of the screen there, that just getting the chest out. So when runners like dip their head, what they're actually doing is they're protruding their chest forward to be closest to the finish line. So that's how fucking close that race is. And so 2 athletes have finished with the exact same time. Third place, 0.02 of a second back, but it's the clavicle. It's the part of the chest from the clavicle down closest to the finish line, and that's how he's won that race. It's unbelievably close, but fucking hell, man, what a spectacle it was again. And Noah Lyles, he walked the walk.
He missed his start as well. It seemed to me like it took him 99.99 meters to get in front.
He was eighth and halfway
of this bloke Thompson. I was keen to discuss with you your views on the complex character of Noah Lyles, because firstly, fastest wheels in the world. Mm-hmm. When he jumps out onto the track, he's basically springing up and down, using a whole bunch of energy. I just in the World Championships recently, he brought a Yu-Gi-Oh card with him. So he's a pin-up boy for nerds everywhere. With respect, he's happy to take on his countrymen by just going you guys don't represent the USA, but I've got I'm competing against every nation. There's a he confounds you, Noah Lyles. And then after the race, he spoke about he started to talk about the industry, and how important the sport is. To pump up, so he's actually keen to get the whole sport pumped up afterwards as well. It's just it's hard to put a little blanket over this guy and go what's your brand? Who are you? Are you alpha? Are you a nerd? Are you is it pure wheels? Even when they were waiting for the result, which he won by 5/1000ths of a second, he went and draped himself over Thompson because the camera angle that we saw, and it's a trick of the camera. It did appear to me, at least, Thompson got there first because the sprinters are catching up with the camera. You start with a kind of a diagonal angle, and then they catch up to the vertical. But
I think those images there show that his feet cross the line first as well.
Yeah,
but,
right.
But that doesn't count.
It doesn't count, of course. It's clavicle first, and everybody knows that. And that's something you're taught in kindergarten here, once again. Now, we haven't seen someone in the final for quite a while, but nevertheless, you still taught it. We've got a good theory.
I hear about it.
I noticed after the race as well, Big Bopper photographer, we don't have pictures of that. Why would we have that? Photographer going after Noah Lyles, that formed a good contrast. And that photographer is going faster than you and I have ever gone before as well. But yeah, I guess he's the big pin-up boy of the 100. He gets the win, and he's got some interesting things to say. They all live in the shadow of Usain Bolt a little bit, I find. It's all still for me, it's still there's a couple of guys knocking around for the last 20, 30 years, or your 9.7s, 9.8s, but
cute.
It's nice, but it's not the pinnacle.
See, it's funny. You're so right about that, because I think about Sydney Olympics, Maurice Green won big sort of showman energy as well. Then Bolt takes over from Beijing through to Rio. I don't even know who won in 04, which speaks about them more than me. The Italian guy Jacobs won it last year, surprisingly. So, but he, they don't have the same energy as what Usain Bolt does. Yeah. But people talk about Michael Johnson, who was just fucking unbelievable in 200. They'd say his 400 and 200 records would never be broken. That's until Bolt came along. So you suggest that it does suggest that someone else will come along with the same aura, or until someone breaks those world records, it's probably going to be hard to replace what Bolt gave the Olympic Games and those events especially, right? But
hard to see as well, isn't it?
But you're so right about Bolt, who was this charismatic showman, and his performances spoke for themselves. But even winning those races where he stopped running after 70 meters, starts pumping his chest and stuff, but people love that gear. And Noah Lyles is this kind of nerd who's he's a nerd, but he's wheels and he's outspoken. Yeah. But half the world agree with what he's saying. Yeah. Half America agree with what he's saying. The other half is sort of it sort of goes against that principle that America is the greatest country in the world, which they keep getting pumped in the face with relentlessly, that sort of narrative. And, there's lots of good things about the US, don't get me wrong, but he was basically questioning the idea that the US is not the greatest thing in the world. Now, any sane person can see what he was saying, and many people in the world, including myself, would agree with what he said. But it's mate, you haven't won anything yet, so just stay in your lane. Don't tell me that the US isn't the greatest country in the world. We don't create the greatest leagues, the greatest athletes. We are world champions of everything. So, I mean, this will go a bit of a way.
100 meters gold. He says it's his mistress. The 200's his wife.
Yeah.
He might go 100, 200. Australians find it hard to get around him, I think, a little bit because there's carry on, and then it's complex because he carries Yu-Gi-Oh cards as well. So it's like I don't understand how to I can't fit this into my like the confection that I need for people. But nevertheless, he's done the business. You know, he's got the gold in the 100.
Yeah.
Play on. It was Gatlin in Athens.
Justin.
Yeah, people screaming it into their ears.
JG.
Well, you didn't know it was Justin Gatlin. Justin Gatlin in 9.85.
I liked it when Noah Lyles came out and he fucking basically ran half the track for a start upon announcing his name, and then they had to wait 4 minutes for the race to start. I don't know what the hold-up was.
Hammer throw.
Hammer throw was
Just waiting for a bloke when a hammer throw just to sort of.
Now, if I'm the bloke doing the hammer throw,
he called it. He called it. Hang on, boys. Garçon.
Hey,
garçons. And that's the track.
Women's
That's the
high
track.
jump.
Yeah. Okay. So we're back to Aussies now, or you want to go like just athletics?
Stay with athletics.
Yeah.
and
Okay.
the
Okay.
Aussies, so that's okay.
Yep.
So the women's high jump, Australia took home 2 medals. Nika Olaslagas claimed her second silver in 2 Olympics, while Eleanor Patterson won dual bronze with Irina from Ukraine. Gerashenko of Ukraine. So Nicola Olaslagas misses. She missed at 2.02.
Yeah.
But she did get to 2 meters.
Yeah.
So that made her win her second Olympic medal. And for the second major championship in a row, Australia had won silver and bronze medals behind Yaroslava Mahukic. Is that
Mahukic?
Right?
She got over the 2 meter bar first, so she takes gold. They're both at 2 meters, and then Mahukic at the end after having secured the gold. Given that Olaslagas missed out on her third attempt at 2:02, she just raised it at 2:04. Missed out, but nevertheless raised it anyway.
And doing some good journaling after each jump.
Well, that's Olaslagas, and I got to say, I have to say this.
Yeah.
So if you watch Olaslagas go through her routine, you'll see that she smiles wildly. It does have a Hillsong kind of affect to it.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that's not her, her brand, but it does appear to be some Sky Daddy stuff. That's her right.
Yeah.
She repeats affirmations to herself.
Yeah.
She says you can do it, then she says a whole bunch of other stuff I don't know. Then she does her jump, and then she goes straight to the notebook to go through. As in the journal, not the DVD. Not the DVD.
She watched the DVD extras.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That would take a long time to complete. Now, I'd understand if there was some crow's feet at that if you weren't Australian.
Yeah.
However, I am Australian, and I think it's wonderful.
Good, okay. Yeah.
I think what she does is wonderful.
Yep. Would you say how good?
Mate, she's entitled to get over that bar, however she needs to get over that bar. And that's a message to the rest of us in our life. The bar of life. And Mahukic, Ukraine, can't begrudge it.
Well, yeah.
You can't begrudge it in the circumstances.
Yeah.
Okay?
And we'll accept that.
And I'll permit that.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll permit that.
What about the men's 400 metres, Pezza? 21-year-old Reece Holder, who was born in Britain. His dad is from Trinidad and Tobago, and he moved to Australia as a kid. So he could have competed for any of those 3 countries.
Right.
But he chose Australia because he grew up here. He ran 3rd in his heat, meaning he's into the semi-finals. He ran the 2nd fastest 400 metres of all time by an Australian, behind Darren Clark's record. So that's faster than the time John Stephenson ran when he won silver in Athens in 2004. So this guy's wheels. 21-year-old, 400 metres.
Great. That's gold.
Straight through the semi-finals.
Yep. Okay, so that's a hope.
It must have been a PB as well. Second fastest time ever by an Australian.
Because there's a lot more of this sort of chat, isn't there?
Now, he came 3rd in the heat.
Yeah.
So,
But it's kind of like 3rd in the heat, 3rd fastest Australian, 2nd fastest Australian ever, behind DC and Kathy Freeman.
Yeah.
And
here's what I don't like. He'll be really pleased with that race. I don't give a fuck what he's pleased with. I'm not pleased with any but fucking gold. Okay.
Well, that's where we're gonna end up, cowering in a corner, fetal position, if we don't start getting around the pleasure at a PB. Because that is really the story of Australia in track and field. You know what I mean? It's a PB, he's run 3rd, he might make it through the lucky loser round or something. Yeah. Anyway, no, I know it's wheels. Right. It's absolute wheels. Yeah. So, fair play. I'll allow it once again.
Okay, thanks
I'll allow
so
a
much.
bloke at the Olympics running the second fastest that anyone on this nation has ever run around.
As a 21-year-old,
As a 21-year-old,
first run the Olympic Games.
I'll permit that.
He'll be pleased with that run.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up until he gets gold.
Oh, next week's going to be tough.
Before we go round the grounds,
Yep.
should we thank Smith Optics Australia? Pezzo?
Yeah,
Just
we
very
shall.
quickly.
We shall.
Use the code FAST for 25% off your order at smithopticsaustralia.com. We're talking about lids the last couple of days. Pezzo in his hand right now has got the Trace MIPS on the road. The pinnacle helmet in Smith's Performance Road collection is the all-new Trace.
Let's go.
So storage and ventilation of eyewear, if you want to chuck in some shades as well.
Yeah, please.
Storage and ventilation of eyewear is crucial on those long rides. The Trace's air evac system relieves hot air that builds up on your eyewear to prevent fogging. Eyewear storage is made easy by channels on the side of the helmet that hold your eyewear in place for those grueling climbs.
Well, you know where you might see this kind of lid as well? I think they got some specialised ones, but guess what's
Yes.
kicking off tonight? The velodrome.
Oh, yes.
Now, there's an aesthetic we haven't mentioned once.
Have we got
on the
anything
show.
going on the velodrome? 'Cause
Well, let us know.
We usually have a good history of cyclists.
Well, I'm sure Smith is involved in the velodrome and the Madison in particular. So this is where you get into the velodrome. A lot of kids will be watching this for the first time going, now they're not allowed to swear, but essentially, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And why do I like it? You know, we talk about, and I'm sure Smith's involved in this, which is why we're folding this
definitely.
into this segment.
Yeah.
And if they're not, well, go with it.
Yeah.
And they should be, and they will be if they're not, because they're agile and that's what they do.
Yeah.
But like, you mentioned this the other day, the great test of Olympic sports, maybe one is
Drugs. It's the great test.
The great test in the sky. One is like, is it fundamental to the movement of a human? You know, as you were saying, up and back.
Up
Get
and
there
back,
first.
yeah,
A
yeah,
and B.
yeah.
You know,
Longest, highest.
you're the fastest. You jump the highest. You jump the longest.
How heavy is that? Pick it up
Decathlon. Can you do all of them? A javelin. Here's a spear.
Yeah.
Let's throw it. That's something.
Yeah, from here to there. Hurdles now.
Yeah, something
Obstacles.
speaking to the instinct of and the experience of the human from the moment we evolved from, apes or from
Aliens.
the water or aliens, as Warren said. It's not decided yet,
Yeah.
right? I don't know, and I understand bikes. Here we are. One of the great inventions of humans is wheels, right? As in, that allows us to transport. One of the
Different
first
to
ones-
Noah Lyles, who has
That's
wheels.
right. Well,
Yeah.
that's just
You're talking
fundamental.
actual wheels.
Yeah, so you understand a bike. Now, at some point, someone's gone like, yeah, but just chuck a little gradient on it. We're on a velodrome now. You know what I mean? Just get it up at the gradient and start to swoop in like a magpie. And it is magpie season in Australia. You understand?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're about to get to that point where we're like, now, someone has invented, and let us know, because we're calling for we're going to need some correspondence this week, as in like not CETS, correspondence on this. Like, we've got the velodrome, we've got the Madison, we've got everybody swooping in.
Yeah.
The great thing about those races for me is the one where they're basically walking their bike around like 5 laps, just
and they're stalking.
one-on-one. They're stalking each other.
Yep.
And someone goes early, and the person who goes early is normally doing it out of weakness.
Yes.
But they basically just stalk for 5 laps or whatever it is, and then this last one, then we just go hell for leather. Like that's pure racing.
And
that's
they-
not like how I can average out my times over the last 4 years, and I can essentially figure out via sports bet
racing.
who's going to win. Not me personally, but others. Right? But this is racing one-on-one.
That stalking element is really fascinating now because what they're doing is they're actually going on Instagram and they're liking photos from like 8 years ago.
Exactly.
Just as like, oh, what's this? And
That's
then
how
before you
get
know
in
it,
their head.
bam, then they go past
Well,
them.
stalking culture has really evolved.
It's really
due to
evolved.
technology.
Yeah.
So that's funny.
Yeah.
So
Well, people are jumping on Tinder and they're setting their parameters to be in Paris.
I want to also note this. He goes on sponsors. I think because we are talking about our sponsors here. Like,
are we?
The app like. Well, yeah, Smith. As far as I understand, Smith's a sponsor of ours.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
They are for now, anyway. Well, he's not so sure about the stalking here.
Yeah.
But like, I talked about the women in the drink before.
Yeah, you did.
And there's a lot of different styles of interviews going around at the moment. And the athletes have to perform in that moment that they get. If they get 10 to 15 seconds with any of the sideline commentators, etc., they've got to make the most of that. Saya Sakakibara, very authentic. Emotional. There's a certain style to that. Harry Garside in his loss. very, very emotional as well, let people down, etc.
Yes.
The swimmers have it down pat. Jess Fox has it down pat. That's more of a sort of, I'm looking for, this is where, because of the amateur ethos, there's only a small window to get a sponsorship. So that's where you're looking for your Uncle Toby's, your Harvey Normans, your Qantas, your Akubras, your RM Williams, your Woolies, your Coles, your Bonds, to a lesser extent your Cotton-Ons, etc. And that's where we're saying on this show, back these athletes up. If you're listening and if you're from any of those organisations, stand up for them now. TGC, independent media. Okay? We're going up against the big boys, trying our absolute best, right? Some would say very much amateur ethos, right, with what we do. All we're asking for is a Parmesan sponsorship. Smith's got behind us. But if you're Parmesan and you're out there, get in touch. boysactually@gmail.com, the preferred place. Okay? But Smith Optics, they're the people who are backing us.
And you can use the code FAST for 25% off your order. If you are stalking, I wouldn't wear Smiths because you'll be easily identifiable. You'd be seen in a heartbeat.
Is this an athlete also stalking? Yeah, we are not saying in any way that Smith products are good for stalking people.
We're not saying that. Unless
you're in the velodrome. But you're probably indoors. So.
Don't do it. Like if you were going to go about it, here's an 8-point plan. SmithOpticsAustralia.com. All right, Aussies around the grounds. Opals, Pezza, this morning. They beat France 79-72.
Home crowd.
Here's what the situation was before the game started. If Nigeria beat Canada, which they did, then it would mean that Australia would need to win this game against France by 6 points or more to move to second in the group and therefore avoid meeting the USA in the quarterfinals. The USA haven't lost an Olympics game since 1992 and are currently on a 58-game win streak.
Okay.
And also,
I'm still expecting goals.
And also, they've openly spoke about, we probably should have picked Caitlin Clark had we known that she was going to be this good. So they've just picked anyway, whatever. They've medalled in 5 straight games, but have missed this. So France won both their first 2 games by 20 points. They've medalled in the last 5 straight Olympic games, but have missed the semi-finals in the last 2 editions. And had beaten Australia in 3 of their last 4 encounters.
Okay. So Australia's up against it in this fixture.
That's right. The
in
Opals,
front of the baying home crowd.
Indeed. They were up by 11 at 3/4 time. Then they had the lead cut to 1 with 4 minutes to play. Clutch buckets to Kayla George in the final minute. Secured the lead. Sammy Whitcomb, 36, and in her Olympic debut continued her terrific form with 12 points, 7 assists, and only 1 turnover.
They closed it out well, the Opals. We watched this live on 9, and the French were coming, hitting multiple threes to get it close.
Just started jacking them up.
Yeah, exactly. And the amount of times casual observers like me with the family watching was saying with 55 seconds left, actually quite a long time in basketball. It's like they can't make up the difference. Honestly, when you sort of start working your fouls, you start working your inbounds and your slobs and that kind of stuff. I was asked to leave.
Here's what Tez
Tezza?
Madkin said, the captain. Tezza, we knew we would get better every day. We laid a big egg on that first day, referring to the loss against Nigeria, but we're Australians.
Oh, so we knew we'd get better. We laid an egg and we're from Australia.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
When the going gets tough, we fight.
Because they're
Australians. They actually played the last quarter.
Well, that sounds like Steve Waugh had his hand in this one.
So Canada were ranked 5th in the world heading into the games and a chance for a medal. They finished last in the group and knocked out after losing every game. So Nigeria beat them in the last game. So Nigeria, the first African team to make the Olympics quarterfinals. Nice story. Yeah, Australia still lost them.
All good.
So Australia finished second. They're going to avoid the US into the quarterfinals. I don't know who they play yet, but that's a good thing.
Okay.
Stingers.
Yes, now we're talking. I think the nation's getting behind the Stingers and the Sharks. The nation's becoming a water polo nation.
The ladies in the drink.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Once again.
Australia's women water polo team defeated Hungary 14-12 in a penalty shootout thriller to finish top of the group. Australia are undefeated with 4 wins, 2 of those from penalty shootouts.
Yeah.
They'll play Greece in the quarterfinals, Pezza. So there's 10 teams in the Olympics, 2 groups of 5. Greece finished 9th, essentially. So they'll play Greece in the quarterfinals, who finished 4th out of 5 in the other group. Greece beat France in their final game to secure a 4th spot. Their record is now 1 win and 3 losses. That's who Australia play in the quarterfinals. So
is that a banana skin for us, given that we only like to beat the best? You know what I'm saying? I feel like every water polo fixture, men's and women's, we've overcome someone who's won the last 3 golds. Now, I know that's not possible.
Yeah, but it does
we're
feel
talking
that
about
way.
multiple teams. But if it's not that, it's a championship.
Yeah.
It's the greatest ever.
Best team in the
So
world,
now we're
yeah.
just playing a team that's, 1-3. I see banana skin. The last thing you want to see the last thing you want to see in a pool. And a Band-Aid.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
stingers in the drink. Get behind them. Okay, what about the Kayak Cross?
it's not something you want to see either, to be honest.
Ask
Steve Irwin.
We're talking about more ladies in the drink. Naomi Fox is through the quarterfinals in the Kayak Cross.
Now we're talking.
While older sister, I forget her name, has been eliminated.
She got an older sister.
Yes, I haven't read that, but I'm pretty sure that's true. Yeah. So Naomi's next round will be at 12:45 a.m. tonight. Have you seen this Kayak Cross? It is mental.
Oh, mate, I'm very much across all the different types of paddling stuff.
And enunciations of names and where they're from and sort of backstories.
Canoe slalom, K1, whatever, you name it. Drop them in, get down there, have a crack.
If the boys actually bloke hadn't written in, the guy went to school with the Fox sisters and said like it's pronounced Naomi, I'm calling her Jess's sister still.
Oh,
so,
of course.
Boys actually does help at gmail.com.
There's
Naomi,
no way as well, given the French heritage, that the Noemi is pronounced Noemi. We're just literally saying no to someone called Amy. That's how we're doing it, right? It's a Labuschagne situation, without doubt.
So the Foxes actually faced each other in this
third heat.
In the third heat,
yeah, gutted.
And then just got stuck in the riptide there.
Vance Joy. So she Vance Joyed herself. Jess got stuck in the riptide. So
sleep between the flags.
I mean, and this, big sister, little sister stuff. Here goes. It's a sub narrative. Don't go there. Is there a name more synonymous with class than Jess Fox? Probably, but she misses out. She misses out here on the chance of a hat trick of gold.
Yeah,
right. But the way she does it is so classy. She essentially substitutes herself out for her younger sister.
Yeah.
Is there a bigger claim to an Uncle Toby sponsorship?
Takes a chop out
than
for
that.
a sister.
Chop out for the sister. That is family branding. That's tear jerking. That's bonds. That's a bond sponsorship right there.
Yeah.
From Noemi's perspective,
a
lot of there's a lot of sort of awkward chat about whether they would actually be rivals going into this because Australians will have this presented to them. We like to think that they're so loving and they're so tight as sisters that it must just be gutting to have to compete against one another. Whoever says that has never been a younger sibling in their fucking life. Can you imagine the circuit that Noemi is on at the moment?
She'll be in the drink right now.
Mate, why wouldn't she be? Any little sister, any little sibling, write in and confirm this. The psychological inspiration that the youngest must take into that race. Yes, it's all sweet and caring on camera, Uncle Toby's, etc. But away from that, the youngest does what's necessary to destroy the shadow of their elder. This is a great win for Noemi. Make no mistake about it. I'd like to hear from younger siblings on this. Boysactually at gmail.com. Not to be I'm not going to go into that.
All right, the men's hockey, once again, men let us down. Any fucking danger.
Any danger.
The Kookaburras have bowed out in the quarterfinals, going down to the Netherlands 2-0 in what was the third straight meeting between the two teams at the same stage of the tournament. Good news, though. Hockey Roos, they're playing tonight against China at 6 p.m. Eastern time. That's a quarterfinal.
Oh, that's prime time Australia.
Yeah, that's right. So Hockey Roos good. Kookaburras out.
Mate, Kookaburras. Donald Robert Argus is a busy man.
Shit in the rowing, shit in men's hockey, shit in the drink.
First the Rosellas, now the men's hockey. I mean, men's sport in Australia.
Hang on, who are the Rosellas?
That's the rowing.
That's the rowing.
Okay, the Rosellas.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. ROW.
I thought it was a tomato sauce brand.
No, it's a bird.
I know it's a bird, yeah.
Yeah, but this time referring to the men.
Now, what correlation does rowing and birds have?
I think it's just a play on the row. Like, so a Rosella is a bird.
Rosella. Yeah, right, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well done.
So yeah, I mean, for Donald Robert Argus, who'll be conducting this review into, I mean, there actually is a report going into the Rosellas.
There actually is, yeah.
They're doing something like that.
Yeah.
I believe Argus is helming that. But now they're going to be doing the same in the men's hockey, the Kookaburras.
Yeah.
And I mean, if Bulmer retires Smith this summer as well, Argus is going to need to build his team. That's all I'm saying. We got a boys actually from Frank here, just on the hockey, because a lot of people, sort of 45 minutes into this show are like, yeah, but what about around the grounds with hockey, with the rest of what's going on? Now, Frank says, let me fill you in with some absolute scenes in the men's hockey. Number 1 ranked team Belgians lost to Spain in the quarters, now have to fuck off home.
Oh, right? Wow.
Good on you. Then Coley's mob beats Bairstow's in another shock result. So India's hello, welcome to Morning After Paris, India. Let's get a timestamp on that, Charlie. Just for the view count. Funny when India knocked over Australia a couple of days ago, our most watched show on YouTube across Morning After Paris. Don't know. So, yeah, Coley's mob beats Bairstow's in another shock result, despite one of their players getting sent off with a red card for hitting another bloke in the face with his stick.
Oh, my God.
Can't begrudge him. India played India played the game with one less player. Pom still couldn't win. I think the goalkeeper, absolutely unbelievable performance there as well. Yeah, right. So shout out. This guy, Frank, puts it down to the ball change in the Ashes. Anyway, none of it matters now because the Australian Kookaburras just got eliminated. Sorry for wasting your time. Cheers. No, thanks, Frank. You didn't waste our time.
No, all good. That's everything I've got for Around the Grounds. So much happening.
Boxing, Caitlin Parker is into the guaranteed medal match, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's at least a bronze. You know, if you go into because it's a semi-final, even if you lose that semi, you like in the bronze match, I think you both get bronze or some shit like that.
Oh, right. They don't do like a bronze match. You just make a semi-final.
You make the semi, you fight each other, but you're both getting the same medal irrespective. So why, I'm not really going to judge people who want to punch each other in the head, to be honest, but it would figure.
Unless you're a bloke and you want to do that to like a woman.
I have to be honest. I started reading my notes when you started that, and then I came to when you said something about beating a woman, so I don't know what to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, boys, actually at gmail.com.
The boys hit their first snag in Morning After Paris. Are we into the internationals and
we are.
Hewy's section?
Yeah.
Introducing Melbourne comedian Tim Hewitt. It's more than popular demand. It's getting
Come on in, Hewy.
It's getting quite. It's actually getting quite embarrassing for us.
Oh no,
people are hanging
boys.
out for Hewy.
No, it's another thrilling morning on the couch watching you boys get into your work. They're into their work now.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. We warned you.
No,
it's getting more and more indulgent.
Lads, I love it. And I tell you what, it's inspiring, and I tell you what else is inspiring. Just let's take a moment. Let's listen. Let's soak this up.
Okay.
See if this fires you up for the rest of the Olympic coverage. I got mad at my wife after my first Olympic game. "You're so talented," she said. "It's not talent, it's dedication," I replied. "One day you can wear the Aussie uniform, but are you willing to dedicate your entire life to trying?" So think about that.
Now, for people listening to this, is that you just?
Yeah.
Are you recounting conversation you've had?
That is me. That is what I.
And where do I buy in?
Yeah, that was after my girlfriend, who's never in 10 years dared to say you are so talented to me, and justly. No, this is from.
So what was that? Yeah.
This is from the Aussie basketballer Jack McVeigh.
Okay.
And that's coming off a hot loss to Greece, I'd imagine. He's tweeted that one out.
Do we have that, Charlie? Do we have the? We don't have the one. Okay.
Just trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's real. And then he's followed it up with, "If you enjoyed this tweet, sign up for my weekly newsletter, Mondays with McVeigh."
It was a provocative promo.
It's a promo
for the Boomers Players newsletter.
Yes, which I mean, subscribe alert. We're all getting in on that. It was a thrilling thing to come across my desk, that tweet. Yeah. Really exciting. Because boys, we are entering a brave new world.
Yeah.
Of Olympics, just having this much access to the great minds behind it all,
Yeah.
We're getting in there, we're seeing and we're witnessing our first sort of crypto guy Aussie Olympians. And that is a rush, you know?
Yeah.
If we can get the LinkedInification of the Olympics, we're in good hands and it's going to be exciting. You know, you just see stuff like that and you go, thank God. Thank God someone's going to be teaching Gazy what an NFT is. Can I sell them at Kmart with the Gazies? Maybe, mate. We'll see. We'll see. So that really tickled me. That, you know, that's not an actual vibe from the Olympics, but it's from the village, I guess.
Yeah.
Tweeting that from a cardboard bed, getting in the zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And shout out to his wife.
For hanging on in there. Yeah.
Good on
she
ya.
subscribed.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There is something.
Just hit, just there.
Yeah.
Just click it.
Yeah,
That's right.
And
Okay.
set bell notifications.
Yep.
And, There's something frustrating for normal people who we said before how we live vicariously through these athletes. Of
course.
But they are
And
so.
see a bit of ourselves in them as well.
Sometimes.
Just, of course,
Sometimes. Yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah.
If
I too
train.
can be a cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And start a newsletter. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could wear a jersey.
Yeah. Yeah. I often
Not
do.
official, but it's sort of an off-brand one or whatever. Yeah.
But he forgets that he's 203 centimeters for a start.
That helps.
But he
Well,
professional
you're
athletes.
suggesting it's not just dedication.
Well, professional athletes love to convince themselves that they just worked a bit harder at training, you know, and they forget that they just are given these biological, wonderful gifts that we would fucking murder people for, and many people have actually.
yeah. If I murder this person, I might get this high.
Yeah,
It's a
you
whole
sort of-
plot of Space Jam.
If I skin them, then wear their skin as a suit, maybe I can swim quick.
yeah, exactly. The real super suit era.
I did that with a cheetah once.
Yeah. So that's been thrilling and
Went to jail.
and it's been good around the grounds, boys. I did a sort of my own sort of super watch last night, just on the 9 Now app. I'm riding that little, I'm riding that little controller like it's a heated chow poo. I'm getting out of there. I've got to get off the main coverage. I will lose my mind if I hear that. I made it. Yeah. You boys are soaking it up on stand.
I can't get that song out of my head. I
Yeah.
just cry the whole time.
I'm crying. I'm sick of watching that red couch go to auctions.
Oh yeah. And also like the way the song Heaven Must Be There takes a beat before it comes in. Like I know what it's doing to me, but I just want it to actually stay on the beat. That's a little issue I've got.
I'm taking a nice break from a car being involved in a divorce.
Oh, that's true. That's
I'm
true.
taking a spell from that.
Yeah, the oafish male who just wants his car, and I think he wants his wife too.
And
But he can't
it's
quite
good not
say
to
it.
be blasted with odds.
Yes.
Yeah. But we do get the Richie's IGA ad, which is maybe the lowest. I've never seen an ad that's more like, okay, well, we've spent a bit to get on the telly, now to make the ad with 50 cents left. Anyway, this isn't the vibe. This is and it was good. I had a real good whip around the grounds last night. Watched the dressage final. Gorgeous in the Palace of Versailles there.
Yes.
And I just think how nice it must be for all the little ghosts of the Dauphins or the boy princes you see in historic movies, just giddy with excitement.
Yes.
Watching these little horses dance. They la 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 la, ooh la la la. I don't know. This is very nice. The dance. I don't know if equestrian was a thing. Maybe they started it.
Yeah.
But it looks good in the palace. And it's hard, again, not an expert, but you can't see what the riders are doing. More than sort of sitting there and I'd say the skill from my perspective, I would say the biggest skill of dressage is scouring the world for the naturally fruitiest horses.
Yes.
Right.
I don't know how you train them to do that, but surely there's just there's a gift or a flair there naturally.
Like
in the
a
horse
flamboyance that's probably born.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Boy from Oz stuff.
I think the top riders are particularly good at whipping the legs of the horses. Training. That's what they're particularly good at.
You see a bit of underwater work, as they say, off-camera work on these horses being
in
done.
the training part of the race.
Yeah. You want to keep that. Keep it out of the camera.
No, don't film it again. This isn't a TikTok.
I don't want to know how they do it. I just think it looks beautiful.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, especially at Versailles. Charming.
And it's a sport, isn't it? It's a real sport.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Any sport where royals often win medals, I think is very important and must be very skillful. So I loved that. What else did I ping around, boys? Quick little dip my feet in the ping pong, the table tennis, a few bronze medal matches. It's almost too fast and hard. You're not seeing a lot of great rallies, but I loved the look of the tables.
Yep.
Yes.
We're talking black with the neon pink.
Yes.
We got the Olympic stuff on it. And I'm thinking, okay, who's getting these after? These just knocking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few of the volunteers going, oh, man, if you're chucking them.
Yeah.
That one of these in the back of sort of a, Melbourne share house situation, glass table from Bunnings that are crucial to every good kick on. You got one of them next to it.
Yeah.
The boys having a ping.
Yeah.
Bit of beer pong on that. Oh, high performance stuff. You're draining them on this beautiful neon pink table.
Nice.
So that's what I took away from watching the ping pong. Good bit of kit.
What are they doing with the kit?
Yeah.
I think a lot of them end up in Thailand.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah,
I understand.
yes, of
I
course.
understand.
Yeah.
Some of the higher end establishments. We use the Olympic ping pong tables for our show.
Yeah, that's a nice touch.
That is a nice touch.
Nothing more beautiful than the Olympic rings just popping out. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You notice with the you mentioned a lack of. It's nice not to see odds everywhere, and that there are royals in the coverage. I want to discuss the aesthetic of who's in the stands a little bit more because, and I could be wrong here, but the only we're so used now to seeing political figures adorn our sports events, ensuring that they, and obviously keep politics out of sport.
Whilst remaining to keep politics out of sport,
despite singing the national anthem and seeing them everywhere and leveraging it for political gain. But I know that President Macron is there in the action. He knows where he's got to be. But
he's got the good oil, doesn't he?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not seeing a lot of other political figures knocking around the Olympics. And I think the Olympics always provides a looking glass into societal trends. I've always said that. And been asked to leave
Endlessly.
when I have. Yeah, that's right. Heaps of conversations with women about that. But in the absence of, say, seeing Albo, Albo hasn't attached himself to these Olympics, right?
Yeah.
I saw him at the weekend, in Canberra with a Hawthorn scarf on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That was a big game.
It was a big game. God knows what Dutton was doing, but who's Australia's? Who are Australia's leaders over there attaching themselves to this? I mean, I know Channel 9 CEO Mike Sneesby's there. I was Craig Hutchison there from SEN? Maybe not. I don't know. He's travelling. I learned that on his show on Saturday with Pickers. Just tuned into SEN there, and also Vlandis. Peter Vlandis has been in Paris, the rugby league chair of the commission.
Vlandis would have some big ideas for the Olympics.
Well, I'm just wondering if these are these are the modern day czars of our nation.
Yeah, well, Matty Johns is over there too for some unknown reason.
Let's not make fun of that. We're sort of eyeing off LA 28. So a lot of no names can be over.
Absolutely. Get them in there. Yeah, it's good. I mean, Gina and Dawn, they've really filled that.
That's true.
Right. Are these the new czars of the nation?
Yes.
Essentially high profile sports administrators or corporate magnates?
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, there's a lot of Yank celebrities in the crowd, and they love to show them. But where's our
celebrities?
Where's our Margot? Where's our Hugh?
Yes.
Because Hugh Jackman's he'd be flogging a new film at the moment. With Deadpool.
Yeah, true.
So, but I would have thought it would have been a couple of eyeballs in Paris.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have gone astray for
a
ticket sales, for box
certain
office
feeling of
sales.
safety.
Yeah, him and Ryan Gosling in their little outfits, doing something fucking hilarious together. Oh, it'd be awesome in the stands. He's giving the ups in his little Wolverine claws. Hilarious stuff. That could be really good in there.
Boy from Oz.
The boy from Oz
straight
himself.
away.
He might have been at the dressage. And anyway, beautiful there at Versailles. So
who does Australia want though? Do we feel safe that Vlandis is in the crowd?
Yeah.
Or that Gina's in the crowd? I know that cricket will be at the Olympics in LA. Is that the time for the 2001 Australians from Wimbledon to don the baggy green caps? Those that are still with us, by the way. Even if Warnie was there, he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But is that when we see Steve Waugh in the crowd and get that further sense of national safety? Would that have assisted the men's efforts in the pool? If you're looking up from the blocks and you're 0.05 away from potentially taking the gold, is the vision of Steve Waugh there, or are you young enough to go, who the fuck's this guy?
I tell you what was actually good for that. The Stingers have two, the whole water polo energy is rugby league in the water.
Yes.
Is what if a prop could tread water sort of vibes. And it was great to see Daryl Harrigan and Steve Kearns have kids in the Olympic team. So just Daryl Harrigan, Canterbury Bulldog sharpshooter, watching his daughter fire one in to win the penalties, and he's in a beret going, come on.
Is Daryl Halligan's son in there?
His daughter.
Daughter,
the
sorry.
daughters and Tilly
For Australia.
Kearns. Yeah, so there's a rugby union and a rugby league daughters, both in the Stingers, which is, you know, you can't say that's not part of the success.
Let's just hope it's Halligan Canterbury era, not North's major semi-final 91.
There's a Paris playing for the Hockey Roos. Must be related to
Joel.
To Joel Paris to Nova.
Oh, Paris.
Paris.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, you've been living in Melbourne a little bit with that. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
All my years. It definitely could be that too. Okay, well, that's what you want to see as well.
Yeah.
You want to see some
lineage.
Some lineage.
I don't know if they are related, but I presume they must be.
Tilly Kearns.
They're allowed to play.
Tilly Kearns.
Yeah.
Phil Kearns' daughter as well.
yeah.
She's knocking around.
Well, I saw Aaron Finch was at the swimming.
Okay.
So-
well, his children are
Well,
young.
all
I think,
the
so they're
stars
still-
are out to play.
Yeah. Okay, Finch was there. That's a
Snoop Dogg.
captain.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And I saw
So
Ralph Harris at
America has
gymnastics.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And finally, on my quick whip around, caught a bit of the archery.
Nice.
And my dad's first thing was, you'd think they'd be able to hit it every time. And then it panned out. It's like, oh, okay, this is about 70 meters away and incredibly hard. But there one bloke really caught my eye, and that was a Yank. What was it? Brady Ellison. And that was
There he is.
hell of a look. You could sort of feel freedom, sort of screaming off the screen. And I'm amazed he didn't, pick an American Eagle on his way through with the shoots. He was good, and he had I would describe the energy as future Rogan guest. Really ready to explain. Joe being like, now I bow hunt as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I could really see them getting into how important it is to kill naturally and cherish every part of an animal.
Right.
And that it's good actually.
Yeah.
Spiritual, yeah.
Spiritual sort of stuff. Yeah.
Can
So
we get that guy up again, Charlie? He sort of looks like Mark Burris a bit as well. From Wizard Home Loans.
Where's Burris?
So he's our Rogan, almost, just from a corporate perspective.
Yeah, we need him back. So
Yeah.
he really took with me. And that got me going in the archery. Just seeing he was sort of shooting against what looked like a little Parisian boy prince as well. So felt it's like, oh, you guys invented freedom. Watch this. see the upgraded version, mate. Liberté, égalité, and fucking have a bit of this, mate. Boys. Straight through 10. And they have a coach, I noticed as well. And they introduced the coach like it's a big thing, and he's just sort of behind with a viewfinder saying, I assume you're going to want to hit the bullseye here.
That's right, just straight.
Thanks, coach.
Yeah.
Some awesome energies around the ground.
Great vibe.
Last night.
I love that flow state, Huey. So he goes, we should probably talk about Novak Djokovic.
24-time Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic has finally won an Olympic gold medal, defeating the Spaniard Carlos Alcaraz 7-6, 7-6. He's the fifth player to complete the career Golden Slam. 37 years old, beating 21-year-old Alcaraz. This was one of the things. This was the only thing he'd never won in tennis. So it was the thing he wanted the most. The match went for nearly 3 hours, Pezza. Only 2 sets.
I expect no less.
First set went for 93 minutes. Second set, 77. Thomas Bach, president of the IOC. He just been for a swim in the Seine.
Talk about lineage. Hell of a composer.
President of the IOC, he awarded the gold medal to Novak. A nice touch. A couple of months ago, Novak had surgery on his knee, hadn't he, at Roland Garros? He had to pull out of his quarterfinal, I think it was.
Hasn't won a title all year.
With a meniscus tear. And here's a photo of Novak afterwards, Pezza.
He loved it.
Mate, so something about the red of the clay. Like it's not my favourite surface to watch tennis on, but the look of it is quite...
it's evocative, isn't it?
It is evocative.
It's evocative.
Yes. Gets people going.
Like you're playing in the desert.
So, mate, it was just reading some reports of this game. It was a fucking hell of a game.
Yeah.
Two of the best players in the world. Obviously, Alcaraz, the young bull, the young Spanish bull, has everything going for him. He's won 2 slams in the last 2 months. Djokovic, this will be his last Olympics, you would think, at 37 years old. This was his last chance to win the thing he's never won in tennis. And now, who could say he's not the greatest of all time? Well, plenty of people could, actually. But
you just say it out of your mouth.
You just say it, and then
someone said it.
People react differently to it, but you've still said it.
Yeah.
So he's won fucking everything. 24 Grand Slams and a gold medal. He's up there for me.
He says, he goes, quote, this supersedes anything I have felt on the tennis court. That's a nice
that's
comment on like the meaning of the gold medal. Like it doesn't matter if your sport's a commercial sport, then it's going to attract conversation about whether it matters at the Olympics and stuff. But he and with Scotty Scheffler, that's another event that happened as well.
Yeah,
they're both there's tiers deluxe.
Yep. Just on that, Rory McIlroy actually said, like, you look at look at all the money in the game, the two events that happen the most, we don't play for any money, referring to this Olympic gold medal as well for them. So, like, it's actually a great ad, I suppose, great advertisement for these sports being in the game, seeing how much it means to these athletes.
Now, shout out to a Boys Actually correspondent, Nicola Young. I'm calling her our Prosecco correspondent.
Yes.
Every time she writes in, she's had a Prosecco.
Yeah.
She says that herself.
She says that, yeah.
And so a couple of Boys Actually from her when describing what Novak Djokovic is going for, and I think you just did this, he goes, it's as in you got it correct. It's not the Golden Grand Slam. It's the career Golden Grand Slam. So a little Boys Actually for us there. Right. Unlike in 2021 when he was going for the career and the calendar Golden Grand Slam. It's getting Equinox stuff. Failing to win both. He's never won the calendar. Okay, whatever.
Well, a calendar would be like he's won all four at the same time.
Sure. Speaking of Alcaraz, if you want to sound super professional, and it's debatable if you do, you can refer to Carlos Alcaraz, and the emphasis on the car and not the wrath. So it'll be Alcaraz. So that's from now on, if we're referring to Alcaraz, that would be... No.
I'm good.
Yeah. That's the proper Spanish pronunciation.
Yeah, someone's been to Barcelona.
It's funny how we sort of do it sometimes and not other times, like we're not sitting here going like Paris or croissant.
Yeah.
But, you can flex when you want. Congratulations to the Joker. Hell of a player, hell of a wingspan, probably the best in terms of wins. Not for me, vis-a-vis greatest, because greatness is more than just numbers against names, except in the case of Bradman.
Okay, in the golf, Scotty Scheffler, world number one. He shot a final round 9 under 62 to win gold by one stroke ahead of Tommy Fleetwood and Hideki Matsuyama, who took the bronze. So Jason Day finished 9th with 12 under, 5 shots back from bronze. Minwoo Lee finished 5 shots back from Jason, finishing 22nd in a field of 60. 2 guys pulled out. So Scheffler came into the final round 4 shots behind the co-leaders John Rahm and Xander Schauffele. He played a final round in a bogey-free 9 under 62, tying a course record. He beat the Brit Tommy Fleetwood by a shot. So Scheffler played the back 9 in 29 shots. It's fucking unbelievable. Matsuyama got the bronze after losing the bronze medal playoff in Tokyo last time. So that's a nice story there, but that's what's happened in the golf. Scheffler does something unbelievable, breaks a course record and shoots a back 9 29 to win gold. The mixed relay triathlon. Belgium's Olympic Committee has announced it will withdraw its team from the mixed relay triathlon at the Paris Olympics after one of its competitors who swam in the Seine River fell ill. Claire Michelle, whatever.
Mickey.
Claire
Mick.
who competed in the women's triathlon Wednesday, quote, is unfortunately ill and will have to withdraw from the competition, the Belgian Olympic and Interfederal Committee said in a statement. So all looking pretty good. The practice, the warm-up, the trial for the mixed relay was supposed to be today or yesterday or maybe later in the week. It's going to be sometime, and they've cancelled it because issues with the Seine again, which is a real shame because, I mean, having these events in the Seine was a great idea until they realised it was full of shit. And they spent billions trying to rectify this with sewerage and, brand new irrigation systems and whatnot, irrigation, but sewerage systems and whatnot.
Removing excrement from the body of water.
And then it's just pissed it down the last couple of weeks, and that's lifted up the level of E. coli once again.
Well, there were some of those athletes who were going to be getting into the drink, into the Seine, who were exposing themselves, who were gradually exposing themselves further to E. coli as a way to adapt to the river. So did the Belgians consider that? I'm leaving that as an open question.
Good question.
Was there an adaptation to E. coli as part of their program?
Can you have too much of a good thing?
Could you give us a little précis on how that's going to work in Brisbane, Hewy?
It's going to be really good.
They're not going to swim in the brown snake, are
I hope so, mate. No,
they're doing the Goldie one, or something like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, get them out the front of where I grew up there, out in the Redlands, just in front of Manly there. bash through there. Look out for the jellyfish. Look out for the dugong. It's going to be delightful in there. Yeah.
And when you say the dugong, is there just one dugong?
There's one dugong, and
right.
it is a menace, man. It's terrifying.
Daryl.
Yeah. Get out of there. I'm not. I can't wait to see. As I was watching with my dad, who had a bit involved to do with the Brisbane stuff, just watching every event in the most picturesque, world famous places, and Dad just going, "Shit, it's not gonna look the same as this." Out at Gumdale. So it's gonna be one of the most picturesque games. I can't wait to see. The backdrop of the Stefan Sky Needle is gonna really live up to the Eiffel Tower and a lot of these events and that sort of thing. So it's going to be great.
So the beach volleyball's outside the Eiffel Tower this time, maybe outside the Caxton this time.
It could be, or I think we just use what we've got, the man-made famous South Bank beach there.
Yep.
That'll be great. Just do a quick needle run before and just make sure there's no backpackers rooting in the little lagoon, and it's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be gorgeous there on the river.
A couple of boys actually to finish off what has been our longest show. Yeah. Both Sam and Sammy wrote in relation to Vortex Shum and Jack Robinson. There was some conjecture over his board. There was a complaint from the South Koreans over his board having the Imperial Rising Sun, or the Rising Sun there. Sam and Sammy, this is from Sam. He says, boys, actually, in relation to the Vortex Shum and Jack Robinson's Rising Sun print on his surfboards, apart from the Imperial Japan World War II gear, among surfers, this is in homage to surfing icon Andy Irons, RIP, and very common in the surfing world. So a lot of people just pointing out that it's just a shout out to Andy Irons and not like there are little pockets of people, particularly online, who will pursue the imperial and honor the imperial ambitions of various nations. But I think I can say with some confidence it's unlikely that Jack Robinson is simply saying to the world look, there's something to think about when it came to what Japan did in World War II.
I think the kamikazes had a thing going.
Yeah, I don't think that's what's happening. It's more likely to be homage to another surfer, Andy Irons, RIP. Jono on that note wrote, boys, actually, the Rising Sun symbol is a reference to Imperial Japanese military that used it as their official ensign in World War II. Imperial Japan conquered large swathes of East Asia prior to and during the war and did so in particularly brutal fashion, even by standards of imperialism. They invaded and occupied all or parts of what is now China, North and South Korea, Taiwan, Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, Brunei, Myanmar, the Philippines, Indonesia, PNG and Timor-Leste, as well as many islands in the Pacific. Many Asians can be justly touchy around Imperial Japanese symbols. Japan never actually owning up to their sins and apologising doesn't help matters either. Jono. So just a little bit of background on where the complaint may have come from. Still reckon the Vortex Shaman's like, listen, Andy Irons is a good surfer.
Yeah.
Play on.
And how good sushi?
Yeah, well, finally he goes, this one's entitled The Woodies, Sad Aftermath Following Glory Days. A few people wrote in about this because they're like, Woodies, well, why aren't they doing stuff together?
Yeah. Why don't they live together like Bert and Ernie?
And why don't sponsors why don't sponsors pay for that?
Yeah.
I think once you win enough slams, double slams and medals, etc., sponsors should get together. There should be a fund to permit the Woodies to live together forever, like Bert and Ernie.
Little matching night hats.
Yeah, that's right.
Good night, Woody. Good night, Woody.
Yeah. And we have a 24/7 camera on them, like Big Brother.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Woody, not tonight. I've got a headache.
Yeah. Peter Alexander pajamas. Yeah, nightcaps on.
Oh, come on, just a tip,
please. Boys, you asked about what's happened to Mark Woodford. Sadly, the Woodies are no longer on speaking terms after a falling out. I read some other stuff.
Happened.
Not sure of the reason, but don't think it has to do with Todd getting the hosting gig on the Channel 9 game show Tipping Point.
You don't know that.
And then it says, cheers, John Edgerton, the younger, less famous brother of 1991 World Cup rugby winner.
What about Joel?
Yeah, that's right. No, Joel. That was Joel. He played blindside.
Oh, right.
Nash open side.
Yeah, exactly. No, I read that there was and if you read it, then it's probably true. But there might have been a little bit of friction vis-a-vis Todd Woodbridge on the Masters circuit of. There's only 1,000 tennis correspondents who are very quick on the boys actually here, so let us know. But Todd electing to play with Swede Jonas Bjorkman who was a good player, to be fair,
Yeah.
on the Masters circuit, Mark Woodford going any danger, we're the Woodies. You know,
and
wouldn't mind a gig.
Put him in the bin.
Yeah, and I think, you know, in some veiled comments both of them have made, they both said that they've got a lot of respect for each other, but, you know, maybe from Todd's perspective, and I'll just sort of speculate about this here, but an hour and a half into the show, but Todd's like, I've moved on with them. I'd like to move past the Woodies as a brand and get onto my own thing. Tipping Point, Jonas Bjorkman, etc. And Mark Woodford's like, can you imagine the coin involved in you know, capitalising on the Woodies brand?
Yeah.
Especially amongst a particular demographic of men in a drought of male success in sport.
That's true.
So it's a tough one to try and kind of navigate here on Morning After Paris. But
many such circumstances in comedy, mate. The duo, someone wants to go solo, the other's doing cruises.
Oh, mate, tell me about it.
Any danger, we get the band back together, mate.
Yeah. We'll speak about that in bed tonight.
Yes, yeah, indeed. Just the tip, he goes, please, please.
All right. That is the Morning After Paris, sort of. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday.
In Europe it is.
In Europe it is, that's right. That's right. So something to think about.
Yeah.
And we are actually in Paris right now.
Yeah, it's a global. Hey, we had some shout out from Italy last night as well.
Yeah, we did.
So
gone around the globe again.
It's a European show mainly.
Thanks, Hewy.
Pleasure, boys. Thank you.
We got Tomo on the show tomorrow, the caller.
Yeah, the
caller from the Olympics, from the swimming,
and now,
which is what we call the Olympics.
And we'll be reflecting on the swimming in the past in the next sort of
That's
5,
right.
6, 7 days.
Popular demand. People have said just more swimming stuff, even after the program's finished. So Matt Thompson joins the show to just recap for about an hour what happened in the pool.
Yeah.
The good bits anyway.
And then after that, we'll get the entire Australian swim team on there.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. All right. See you tomorrow. Cheers.